An OAP hood called Big Stan supplied fake cash that sparked Scotland's raging gang wars. As we reveal, Scottish detectives still have had no contact with Dubai police. Notorious 74-year-old Stanley Carnall of Liverpool printed the dodgy Bank of Scotland notes used in a rip-off cocaine deal with Ross Miami McGill. The new details emerged as we shed fresh light on the ongoing Operation Portaledge investigation by Scottish police. The force has confirmed there has been zero email exchanges with secretive cops in Dubai, where McGill was orchestrating the tough war before he was booted out in September, along with Lyons gang head Stephen Lyons. Big Stan, meanwhile, was jailed in January for his leading role in a counterfeit cash racket, printing Scottish notes for distribution to hoods north of the border. Convicted heroin dealer Carnall has deep-rooted links to some of Scotland's most prolific crews, including the Daniel and McGovern clans, thanks to his decades-long presence in organised crime networks linking Scotland to Merseyside. And sources claim Carnall's dupe cash operation helped fund the £500,000 cocaine deal that sparked Lyons gang linked to McGill's bloodthirsty revenge mission on underworld rivals. The 31-year-old former Union Bears capo of East Kilbride ordered a wave of firebombings, machete attacks and murder bids on Glasgow's Daniel mob, as well as associates of Edinburgh kingpin 38-year-old Mark Richardson. Scottish police have so far arrested 63 people as part of the force's ongoing Operation Portaledge investigation into the tough war that kicked off a year ago on the 6th of March. And today we lift the lid on the dodgy deal that ties some of Scotland's most fearsome hoods to Liverpool's underworld, where Carnall has been a menacing figure for decades. One insider said, Merseyside criminal Stan Carnall is the kingpin who ran the production facilities of the counterfeit cash used in the botched McGill cocaine deal. His connections to Scotland go back to the 90s, when he spent time in HMP Kilmarnock with a member of the McGovern clan. His latest counterfeit cash racket supplied £1 million to a Scottish associate, who then provided that to a caged member of the Daniel network. Some of that was then used in the McGill cocaine deal. An underworld investigation discovered a run of serial numbers on the counterfeit cash matched the rest of the consignment supplied by Big Stan, and that's what triggered the gang war. Carnall was sentenced to 4 years on the 29th of January for his leading role in a fake cash production line printing Scottish banknotes. The elderly villain helped set up a factory to produce the notes and played a key role in their distribution, Leeds Crown Court heard. Carnall of Vale Road in Woolton in Liverpool was found guilty to conspiracy to make counterfeit currency alongside Lee Mitchell, who's 54, from Morley in Leeds, and 42-year-old John Sutcliffe of Gale Street in Rochdale. In October, the plot was rumbled when cops raided a warehouse in Rochdale on the 7th of February 2024, where they found £380,000 worth of £20 Royal Bank of Scotland notes were being churned out. Judge Kate Rayfield told the court Carnall had been brought into the conspiracy by Mitchell, but she could not accept the idea that Carnall was Mitchell's lackey. She told him, "Your connections in Scotland were intended to open up a customer base." Carnall's barrister made a plea of mitigation that included details about his failing health after being released from prison in 2017. Rayfield rejected a plea from Carnall's children to impose a non-custodial sentence because she regarded the offence so serious that it has to be a significant deterrent sentence for anyone who becomes involved in counterfeit currency production. Carnall will serve half of his sentence before being released on licence. At a previous hearing, Mitchell was jailed for 7 years and given a 5-year serious crime prevention order. Sutcliffe was given 20 months and was released due to time already served on remand. We told how McGill sparked a revenge campaign over claims he'd been ripped off by Richardson's underlings. The chaos started in Edinburgh before spreading to Glasgow, where members of the Daniel family came under fire. So far, 8 hoods have been jailed for their various roles as foot soldiers in a McGill-inspired mob called Tamo Junto, while McGill remains at large. We told how the 31-year-old of East Kilbride, Lyons, who's 45 and from Glasgow, and cocaine dealer Stephen Larwood, who's 42 and from Kirkintilloch, were all arrested by Dubai cops last year and booted out of the desert state. But no authorities in Scotland, the UK, or an international law enforcement have ever been able to confirm details about the trio's arrest and banishment. A well-placed source familiar with international probes said, Dubai law enforcement does not operate in a way we would recognise here. If these 3 suspects were taken into custody elsewhere, you would expect formal communication and possibly extradition processes to begin, but that's not how things work in Dubai. Even powerful police chiefs in the United Arab Emirates don't always know what's going on there. The Scottish Sun submitted a Freedom of Information request to Police Scotland back in October, asking how many emails had been exchanged with both Dubai police and the United Arab Emirates. They failed to reply within the statutory time limit, and the handling of the request was reviewed by the Scottish Information Commissioner, David Hamilton. In the final response, the force said in relation to the number of emails sent and received between Operation Portaledge cops and Dubai, 0 emails were traced, meeting the specifics of your request. But the force refused to reveal any information in relation to emails they've shared with the authorities in the UAE since the turf war ignited in March. That call was backed by Mr Hamilton, who applied 2 exemptions under Freedom of Information laws relating to law enforcement and health and safety. Explaining the decision, he wrote, "Disclosure may assist groups, organisations and those with hostile intent by providing them with insight into the level of communication between Police Scotland and law enforcement within the United Arab Emirates, increasing the risk to individuals and law enforcement officers. Where significant arrests have been made from an operation, it is conceivable that organised crime groups could effectively ascertain that it was intelligence that led to the police action due to any significant volume of communications. From there, they might assume, rightly or wrongly, that a particular individual was providing information to the police, putting this person at risk of harm." The statement went on to acknowledge the importance of public accountability and could favour disclosure by informing the public debate on the issue of policing and contribute to the accuracy of that debate. But went on to justify non-disclosure by saying, however, we must not inadvertently provide potentially harmful information and place an individual at risk. Any disclosure under Freedom of Information legislation is a disclosure to the world at large, and any information identifying the focus of policing activity could be used to the advantage of criminals. In December, a gang war suspect, 42-year-old Stephen Jameson, faced 4 drugs and 2 organised crime charges at Glasgow Sheriff Courts after extradition from Dubai. A Police Scotland spokesman said at the time, "We are grateful for the cooperation and support from the National Crime Agency and law enforcement partners in the United Arab Emirates." The force declined to say anything further on the FOI response. It comes as crime busters at home and abroad have failed to provide any confirmation about the latest alleged arrests of McGill and Lyons. Underworld sources have claimed the Scots duo are in custody in a Gulf state 5 months after they were nicked in similar unconfirmed circumstances in Dubai. The Scottish Sun has approached Police Scotland, the Crown Office, Home Office and the Foreign Office, as well as authorities in Qatar and Bahrain, but none have firmed up the allegations. The scenario mirrors events in September when Crime World sources told of their arrests in Dubai before they were later liberated and told to leave. Since then, the pair have been on the move, with claims McGill had initially gone to China via Thailand and Hong Kong. As questions about his whereabouts continued to swirl, a "Where's Wally" picture was shared on McGill's X account as he appeared to revel in the intrigue. We told in April last year how the former Union Bears Ultra Chief posed for a picture with former Rangers manager Stephen Gerrard before resurfacing as a kingpin gangster pulling the strings on the worst explosion of gangland violence seen in Scotland for years. Meanwhile, Big Stan Carnall's connection to Scotland's underworld makes him the second key Liverpool figure linked to the gang war carnage. We told how 45-year-old Michael Riley of Highton in Liverpool is holed up in a Spanish jail, accused of shooting Lions mob chiefs Eddie Lyons Jr. and Ross Monaghan. The notorious Glasgow hoods were both gunned down on the 31st of May when a hitman pounced at Monaghan's bar in the Costa del Sol town of Fuengirola. Police Scotland have said there is no intelligence suggesting the hit was orchestrated from Scotland. However, Malaga-based police chief Pedro Agudo Novo told reporters in June the murder was carried out by a professional killer and a member of one of the victim's rival gangs. In this case, we are not talking about an independently hired killer, but an internal member of the rival Daniel gang who ends up assassinating 2 members of an enemy gang. We told how Riley was arrested by Merseyside police 2 weeks after the Scots were gunned down in a gangland hit orchestrated amid a raging turf war in Scotland. We later told how Riley, like Big Stan, has deep-rooted links to Scottish criminal networks through his decades-long role in a Merseyside mob steeped in drug deals, dirty money and gun-running rackets.